Hey guys, I'm Ray.
And I'm Jason.
And we're here at the MORryde facility in Elkhart, Indiana.
We're getting independent suspension and disc brakes installed.
Yes, we are taking you along on this entire journey, so stick around. We've partnered with MORryde to bring you this installation video and to show you what this process looks like as a customer. So, as you can see behind us is our Solitude and a couple of other customers. So MORryde has a facility that you can park in for the night because they do require a 6 a.m. wake-up call.
This installation can only be performed at approved facilities, which is this one here in Elkhart and another in Oregon, so that's why we're here. We were the last ones to arrive at the facility today, so we did have to go right here in this middle slot, which was a little tight, but there's ample room for us to get our slides out, and same with our neighbors. They also have 30 and 50 amp connectivity electrical here for you, so you're able to stay hooked up, but make sure that you bring your own water.
Once we backed in and hooked up, we met our neighbors. Everyone here is pretty excited and super friendly, and I find it really convenient that we are able to stay here the night before for free instead of having to pay an additional $40 for another campground somewhere else. So tomorrow morning, we'll be pulling in our slides and hitching up because at 6 a.m. is when the work begins. They're gonna take a few measurements of our rig while it's hooked to our truck and then pull it into the service bay. I'm not quite sure what comes after that, but you'll be coming along for this entire journey, so we'll see you in the morning. Good morning, guys. So this will be the only time you'll ever see me up before the sun, ever, in the 2 years of vlogging.
Yeah.
So we got hitched up, we brought in our slides, and as you can see, our rig is behind us. I don't know if you can see the tech underneath. He's taking some measurements of our wheels and our coach and
Clearance and all of that.
Yes. So, smooth morning so far, super easy. All we had to do was move the RV like, what?
One right turn.
One right turn. So after that, they're gonna be bringing it in to the service bay right behind us there and getting started on the work. And then we are going to get to go to their customer lounge and have some coffee and relax, and that'll be our place to hang out for the day. Ready?
Let's do it.
I need coffee.
Yeah.
Alright guys, so we dropped off Nessie in the service bay and our tech already got started working on her, which is very exciting. So the way it works here, it looks like, is you get assigned one tech and they work on your rig from start to finish. So I like that idea of one person doing the whole job. There's obviously plenty of people we saw working on other things, but you can tell they kind of consult each other and help each other out when they need it, but there is one main person that will be your point of contact while you're here.
Yeah, so we're heading into the customer lounge area here in the main office, where we heard that there's coffee, which we can never get enough of, some breakfast snacks, and we can order lunch for later because they provide that for you. So, and they also have free Wi-Fi, which is good for me because I got a little bit of work to do.
Yes. And if you're curious where Carmen is, she's actually in the truck back there. We did leave it on because it's a little chilly this morning, so we are going to go grab some snacks and breakfast in the lounge area, but then I think we're gonna be in the truck with Carmen while Jason's working. Obviously we have to work and we have obligations to fulfill, but when you're here, you can hang out in the customer lounge the whole day, or you can go sightseeing. So there is the RV and motorhome museum.
Notre Dame, there's plenty of stuff in the area.
Yeah, and there's actually, we were looking on Google Maps last night, a bike path that's not too far from here and it follows a little river. So there's still plenty to do around here, plenty of restaurants if you don't want to hang out on site and you just want to make this a mini vacation. So we're gonna go into the lounge and you're coming with us. She's just been napping, but we checked in on the progress and things are looking really cool. I don't know why, the welding is just like really fun.
Yeah.
So we are now grabbing lunch that is being provided by MORryde because that's just what they do for their customers. So we're gonna go eat that.
Yeah. And then we're almost at the end of the day since they start early. So after we eat lunch, we'll check out what they did today.
Yes. All right, guys, the work for day one is done. Woo!
Woo! Yay!
So we had a really good time learning the process, and our tech was very knowledgeable and vocal about what he was doing, so we were able to film some of that process with you, which we will definitely walk you through. So obviously the first step is taking off the old axles, which was just a lot of muscle. Basically, he could hammer them off.
A little terrifying, but it was awesome to see.
Yeah, it was really cool to see them drop to the floor. Destruction, in a way, is actually really cool.
And then what he did was he cleaned up those hangers that were on the frame and anything else that would get in the way of the new suspension. We got to see him grinding and just kind of polishing up the existing frame.
Yes, he was making a very good foundation to weld on the new framing.
So that was the last thing that he did today, is he finished up welding everything for the new frame. They also added a brake actuator into the front. We used to have electric brakes, and now we're going to have electric over hydraulic. And so they put in that pump this morning where we told them to put it, and that's it. They cleaned up their workstation. That leads us into a couple of other things we wanted to cover since we have the shop all to ourselves here.
Yes, we've already learned some lessons that we want to make sure you guys know if you're going to be doing this.
So the first thing that we wanted to cover was getting here. So MORryde is in an industrial area, but there is residential area surrounding it and kind of in between here and the freeway. So to get you the best route, make sure you check out our blog posts down below, and we'll get you here safely from the freeway. MORryde does provide a local area map and the best way to get here on that last mile, but we want to make sure that it's a no stress situation for you and you take the best route from the freeway.
So the second thing we wanted to cover with you was the pet policy. I know I briefly mentioned it earlier, but I wanted to add some clarification around that. And that is, you are allowed to have your pet with you. They are allowed in the RV when you're getting your service work done, or you can opt to take them out at 6 a.m. and leave them in your car. The only place that they are not allowed is in the guest lobby, where mostly people are hanging out, so it's a nice area. I can see why they don't want pets in there. We almost booked a rover sitter just for the day so Carmen would have somewhere to run around. However, it was pouring today, so we just hung out with her in the car, and she napped and took a couple walks, and she was good to go. There is another couple here with us, and they also opted to just have their 2 dogs in the car, and we saw them out walking in between the rain as well. So a super simple pet policy, just the one rule that they're not allowed in the customer lounge. But you can have them in the RV or your truck, or as we said before, you can opt for a rover sitter.
And the third thing we wanted to cover is where we're staying tonight. So you actually can stay in your RV, and so we are opting for that, but they do want to warn you that it is a 24/7 facility behind us over there where they're manufacturing parts, so you will hear their brake bells and some welding throughout the night. So if you are a very light sleeper, another couple has opted to get a hotel, but we embrace the rumble of life going on around us because we're from LA, so we're gonna sleep soundly tonight.
Yes, there is another couple that is staying with us, so we'll ask them in the morning how they slept and report back to you on the sleeping situation. Last night in the parking lot, we also wanted to give you a heads up for that sleeping situation. There is a train track nearby. I'm sure you've probably heard it in the background of our video a couple times throughout the day, but personally, I grew up next to a train track, so I don't mind the sound at all. And as Jason said before, we actually kind of like the hustle and bustle sound, so train tracks didn't bother us at all. But again, if you are a light sleeper, you might just want to get a hotel for the 2 nights that your rig will be here.
Yeah, it's almost no different than about 50% of the campgrounds out there that tend to be on train tracks for some reason. So I think we're gonna bring our slides out. We have to make sure, the only thing is you have to make sure that they're back in at 6 a.m. in the morning so they can start work.
Yes.
So
they also provide an electrical hookup for you here as well, 50 amp service, and we made sure to fill our water tank so we could have water as well. So nothing else to say for today. We'll check back in the morning for day 2. Good morning, guys. Day 2 here at MORryde. We were out of the RV by 5:57 and they were all there ready to go. So our guy already got started on our RV again, which is pretty cool. So that's our service bay.
606.
606. Surprisingly, I slept really well. How about you?
Yeah, it sounds just like city living. So if you ever lived in a city and you're used to the hustle and bustle and random noises going off all hours, then you'll sleep just fine.
Yeah, it's a little bit in the distance. So this is what they call their service section. So these bays have RVs in them, and that closes down in the afternoon, but this is their production facility. So that is where the work continues all night. So I think I might have just been so tired from the night before because, again, I don't get up before the sun. So when I knocked out hard last night. I only woke up once to I think it's their lunch bell, or letting them know it's lunchtime at 1 a.m. And I laid there for a couple minutes and I passed right back out. So we talked to our neighbors this morning and they pretty much had the exact same scenario. They woke up to the lunch bell and then they were able to get back to sleep as well. So we are going to go hunt down some breakfast. We actually just feel like leaving the property for a little bit. So we're gonna drive around, get some food, and then come back. And we're actually gonna try and hunt down some donuts for the guys today. So we'll see how that works out. But other than that, we're really excited to see day 2. We should be done today.
Our RV is ready, so we get to pick it up, hitch up right now, and then we're gonna take it for a little test lap around the block. We're gonna come back, remeasure everything so we know if any of the heights changed anywhere, and just make sure everything's working.
Yep.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
our test drive. They rechecked all the measurements. Everything looks good. We are riding level while hitched up, which is awesome. We actually ended up taking some pictures with our tech and just chit-chatting for a little bit, and we said goodbye to all of our other folks that were here getting their upgrades at the same time. You definitely feel like a sense of community with the people that are getting their upgrades too, because you kind of hang out with them all day. So yeah, we actually like had some heartfelt goodbyes, and we're all gonna keep in touch online. So we have to hit the road, but we have so much more to tell you, so stick around. All right, guys, we got the RV back, which is very exciting, and we have a handful of things that we want to tell you. But first, it only makes sense to go over day 2's activities and what took place on our rig so you can understand the B-roll that you already watched.
So it started bright and early with our tech mounting and welding the independent suspension. Something that we learned that was pretty cool was that the independent suspension was built on day 1 while our tech was there removing our old axles, and so they were custom building the independent suspension with the options that we got, and that's why it was freshly painted and sitting out there the night before, and we got to check it. So after he mounted and welded on the whole suspension, he moved on to running the brake lines, which was kind of interesting to see, you know, bleeding out the brakes, getting them all working, and looking at the new brake lines that they ran. And then he followed up with doing the alignment for our system, which was a really interesting process to see as well. We've never seen alignment done. He hung this like crazy T-looking contraption from our kingpin, and then put some lasers on our tires, and then just started hammering away at whatever the computer told him to do, which was really interesting process.
Yeah, and then he pretty much just wrapped it up by closing our underbelly again, putting our insulation back, and making that all watertight again. So then we took the RV, as you saw, around the block for a test spin just to make sure everything felt okay and was working. And once we brought it back, he gets back on the roof and he measured everything, and we are completely level. We're towing completely level, which I think is really cool. So one thing to keep in mind though, because of how our rig was towing before, he measures the back and the front, and before we started this, our front was 13.4 and our back was 13.1. So now, because they have to weld, so they add some height, we are 13.5 across. Our front is 13.5 and our back is 13.5. So that's just something to keep in mind if you're doing this, but you can also have them adjust it because we got 8K independent suspension, which is a little beefier. They needed to add a little bit of height. But if you go with 7K suspension, like one of our neighbors did there, he actually was able to lower the height of his rig. I think it was just an inch, right? Or was it 2?
I think he went down 2 inches.
Okay.
And I think it really matters based on your truck itself and how your kingpin and your rear suspension on your truck is holding it up. We have a taller rear bed, and we just got new shocks or struts put on the truck, and so ours is sitting pretty high, and so that's why he had to bring the back up to level it out.
Yes.
So if you're looking to get the MORryde independent suspension installed, there are 4 main options depending on what you choose, and the price ranges from $6,500 to $9,500. And the main things that you get to choose between are the weight of your axles, like how much they can withstand. I think it's 7,000 or 8,000 is their 2 main options. How many axles you have, whether you're putting 2 independent suspension axles or 3. If you want disc brakes and or not, or if you want to replace your bearings with better bearings. So those are all the different options that will either raise or lower your price depending on what you choose and what you need. And MORryde is more than happy to talk through it with you and set up a system that's right for you and your rig.
The next thing we wanted to talk to you about is why you would need something like this or who would need something like this. So if you're like us and you travel full time, or if you do use your RV a lot or you travel long distances, this kind of upgrade will make a big change in the longevity of your RV and just reduce risks on the road. So for example, we now have no concerns over a leaf spring breaking or, you know, a shackle breaking. We feel a lot sturdier already just with the independent suspension. Another benefit with the disc brakes is you have better stopping power. That was actually the first thing we noticed even during the test drive as a passenger. The second you stepped on those brakes for the first time, you really did feel a difference. I feel like our brakes were at the point where if we were getting off an off ramp, it would really just like, you'd have to start braking way further back than I felt like was necessary. I don't know if that's true. I think our brakes were fine, but I'm just saying that the immediate difference of you just literally like tapping on the brake and feeling it, like, so it just adds a lot of peace of mind.
Another thing that I am most excited about is the addition of shocks to our suspension. So that will reduce a lot of that road jostling and just taking that off of the frame and moving it onto the shocks, and so hopefully saving our stuff and saving any structural issues with the RV. So that's a big benefit. We also gained 5 inches of suspension versus the 2 that we have with our traditional shackles. So that'll be really cool to have that up and down suspension travel when we start going off-road and boondocking more.
So those are some of the benefits that really stood out to us when we were researching MORryde and researching the benefits of this type of upgrade. And I'd say we were looking at this over a year ago. So it is a big decision. We totally get that. And we want to make a more thorough review video once we get to test it out after some boondocking or, you know, after some of these rough roads here this summer. And we'll definitely give you our thoughts and our feedback. But even in the 30 minutes that we've driven it to where we are now, we can already tell a difference. So I'm really, really excited about this upgrade and, you know, what it's going to do for the longevity of our RV, and just we'll let you know about all the other benefits or anything else that pops up with it. I'll be sure to put MORryde's contact information and a link to their website so you can do your own research, but feel free to let us know if you have any questions or comments when we'll get back to you. So don't forget to like this video and subscribe to join our Getaway gang. We'll see you next time. Bye guys. You'll be coming along with us for the installation and in Elkhart, Indiana.
We're getting our independent
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. What's behind me? Okay.
Nothing. No one. Don't worry about it.
Not have the cameras in there. There is a train track nearby. All right, guys, we've just been working away. So super easy to handle. That's just their one rule. So super simple. All right, you go.
All right.
Go.
All right.